What is up, nation? Today, let's talk about Jim Ryan's new comments around the PS5 stock shortage situation and Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 being confirmed for Nintendo Switch, Series X, and PS5. All right, everyone, so I got a couple different stories I want to talk about today, and the first of which is Jim Ryan being involved in another interview that is now circulating online, and him basically stating that they did not have enough PS5 stock to meet demand, obviously, and then what his game plan is going to be going forward to ramp up supply to hopefully make this console easier to find for gamers. The other thing we're talking about today is Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 Remastered, which if you haven't played, it recently came out last year, is fantastic, and it is now coming to the current gen consoles and the Nintendo Switch, so it's getting a full upgrade, and I want to talk through the details of what to expect around that title. Now, before we do hop into all those details today, I just want to quickly invite you all to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy the content today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming and console news as we're in the new generation of gaming. But with that, guys, let's dive into the details. So it is no surprise that there is still a very large quantity of gamers around the entire globe that are wanting to get the PlayStation 5, and they've been wanting to get the PlayStation 5 since launch, but there has simply not been enough stock to go around to satisfy the demand of all the gamers that want this console. So the burning question on everybody's mind is, when will there be an end in sight? When will this thing be easier to find? And while we don't still have a specific time window, we do have some comments from Jim Ryan now in a recent interview stating that they are now ramping up production to new levels that they haven't done before. So let's hope that that means that for people who are still on the hunt for this console, that it'll be a sooner rather than later situation. However, it could very well still last through the majority of 2021, but I want to share through the details of the article with you guys so you're kept up to date with the newest stock situation news. Sony's PlayStation 5 remains a very difficult to find machine, and that's expected to stay the case for some time. PlayStation boss Jim Ryan has now responded to the PS5 restock issues, promising to work to get more stock over time while also laying his cards on the table and informing people that they may need to be patient. "All I can say is we're working as hard as we possibly can," Ryan told GQ. Ryan pointed out that Sony sold 4.5 million PS5 consoles by the end of December, which is a bigger number than the PS4 moved over its first 2 months in 2013. Even despite the issues, Ryan said the PS5 had a fairly decent start considering the global pandemic. "I know there were people who wanted a PS5 and couldn't find one," he said. "We're very sorry about that and obviously grateful that the demand has been as strong as it is. One element at play here is the supply chains have been impacted by the pandemic," Ryan said, "and it's not just video games that have been impacted. One very visible example is the difficulties in semiconductor market, whether it's automobiles, smartphones, PCs, or game consoles. The problem in all of those areas are widely documented," Ryan said. "We had to move to an online distribution model that is entirely online, and that's something we've never had to do before. And finally, just the level of demand for the PlayStation 5. So all of those things kind of combined." Ryan said PlayStation has been working as we always have to get more PS5 units in stock, adding that the company is coming out of the Christmas season with renewed vigor and energy. He said fans can expect PS5 stock to increase every month. "And the situation will start to get better, hopefully quite quickly," he said. "We have been relentless in terms of trying to increase production, and I can't really say more than that." So I think my only positive takeaway from that article, it's obviously a lot of, hey, sorry guys, it's out of our control, we're doing everything we can, but he did clearly state that he expects stock to get better every month as we go forward, which is the one reassuring comment that I can take away from that interview. So for those of you who are out there and still feeling like it's going to be forever until you can find this console, we may have a better chance if you're continuing to stay plugged into your news sources and notifications on Twitter, and you're still trying to hop into those queues and those links as they go live from various different retailers that have dropped. We've seen like Targets and Best Buys and even Sony Direct continue to go live intermittently, but if it's going to get easier and easier every month, it might be worth continuing to stay on the hunt if you have been unsuccessful in securing your console so far. So I at least wanted to put that information out there. I know there's not very many confirmed drops anymore. The best sources that have been out there have been like Jake Randall knows a bunch of people at Target that have been able to kind of confirm and give some heads up on when a Target drop might be happening. Outside outside of that, guys, retailers aren't really going to go on record and tell us when they're getting this console. It's just going to be a continued surprise drop from each individual one. So you really have to do your own homework to stay up to date and to actually be in front of your computer or your mobile device when these things go live for you to be able to have a chance at getting your PS5 console. But let's hope every single month, as according to Ryan, that it's going to get easier and easier. So best of luck to all you out there on the hunt, and I hope you get your PS5 soon. And then the other thing we're talking about today is a title that I very much enjoyed that came out last year. That is none other than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, and that is the remastered edition of the original games that came out way back in the day. And if you have nostalgia for those titles like I did, you probably really enjoyed this game if you picked it up. But if you haven't picked it up yet, you might have a reason to. Now, as we walk forward into these future months going forward, it has been confirmed that this is getting both a current gen console upgrade, meaning that the PlayStation 5 and Series X will get a total overhaul of the game and just newer frame rates, newer graphics and textures, things like that. So it is going to be a nice upgrade for those consoles. And then also it is coming to the Nintendo Switch for the first time, which is fantastic because this seems like the type of game that I would love to have the option to play portable if I'm traveling or out and about. So I do think that this is good news around the board, but I want to share with you guys the timeline on when to expect this thing to actually hit shelves, and then also what kind of upgrades that we can be expecting with the PS5 and Series X versions. Activision has formally announced that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 will release on PlayStation 5, Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch this year. The PlayStation and Xbox 5 versions arrive on March 26, while the Switch edition doesn't have a specific release date but is confirmed for 2021. Activision is promising a variety of upgrades, including 120 FPS at 1080p and 60 FPS with 4K visuals, along with spatial audio and other enhancements for next-gen PlayStation and Xbox versions. The Switch edition, meanwhile, won't have these impressive frame rates and graphics, it seems, but the big appeal is you can play it on the go. High-fidelity atmospherics will be added to the next-gen upgrade for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, reads a line from its description. This unique graphical feature will allow players to enjoy the experience of sharper dynamic shadows, reflections, and lens flares, as well as enhanced skater textures and more on the next-gen consoles. People who already bought a digital copy of the game for the PS4 or Xbox One or a disc version on the PS4 can upgrade to the same console family with all of your progress at no cost, except in Japan where this will cost 100 yen. Note that it seemingly only applies to the deluxe edition, and that this offer doesn't seem to be available for the disc version on the Xbox One. So I currently own this game on the PS4 in a disc version, and I'm very excited to hear that they are doing a free upgrade to the current gen console version of this game, as it was obviously a recent release towards the end of the life cycle of the PS4 and Xbox One. And then of course we have the great news that it is coming to the Nintendo Switch, not with the big graphical updates, but just the ability to play it in handheld mode might be able to justify my purchase to double dip on this game. Now I probably will wait until it maybe goes on sale at some point in the future, but I will check it out absolutely on the PS5 and get the 4K 60 frames per second. I think that's going to look outstanding, and then just the updated textures and visuals that they're talking about there sound very exciting considering it's no additional cost. So I would love to know if you guys had a chance to play through this title yet, whether it be, back in the day when the originals came out, or if you picked this up and really enjoyed it as much as I did when this was re-released and remastered back in 2020. So please share your comments on that down below with me, because I'd love to know what the interest level is from you guys on the Tony Hawk game. I certainly hope we see them do more with this franchise in the future, because they could absolutely do a 3 and 4 pack and then maybe an underground 1 and 2 pack. I mean, they have a ton of great titles that were actually fantastic games from start to end before the series kind of started to go off the rails later on. So I hope that they breathe new life into those great games that are already out there and could just be upgraded like we saw with 1 and 2 remastered. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all to leave me a comment, share with me your thoughts on Jim Ryan's comments on the PS5, and if you think that we are going to be seeing console stock continue to ramp up going forward quickly as he said, or do you think this is really going to be a drought year of 2021 and very few and far between console stock drops like we've seen in the beginning part of the year, and you just think it's going to last like that all the way until Christmas? And then also share with me what you've seen so far on Tony Hawk's 1 and 2, and if you're going to pick up this for either the PS5 or the Series X for the first time, or if you're planning on getting on the Switch maybe, if you haven't had a chance to play it on those other consoles yet. And then guys, before I do end the video, I just want to quickly invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out on this video if you enjoyed the content today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming and console news as we're in the new generation of gaming. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.